Hi guys, and welcome back to another video where today we're going to be reacting to our 2019-2020 Premier League positions. Yes, this is the video where we look back at almost a year ago now. Well, it is practically a year ago now. We made these predictions on where we thought each and every team would finish in the final league table of the season. Of course, we've had the issues with the perceived lockdown and everything. A high amount of games in this... in July as well, where everything was crammed together. But we're here with the video at long last. So Nathan, would you like to kick us off by announcing how you got on with your 3 relegated teams?
Okay, so with the relegated teams, I didn't do too well. Bottom, I had Brighton, completely wrong there, 5 places out. Didn't think you'd have enough at the time. I mean, Graham Potter wasn't sure about the appointment of him, really. Only brought in Trossard and were very unlucky. Were very lucky to stay in the Premier League to the season prior, but they turned around and surprised everyone. Had a decent season, had the most points, I think, out of all the seasons they've had in the Prem. Played some good football, good this season, and defying expectations. So out on 5 places with that one. 19th, I had Norwich. Basically spent nothing, and many people actually put them to finish mid-table. Looking across YouTube, loads of people had faith in them with their style of play. But playing good football does not guarantee you wins and points, as Norwich fans noticed. I mean, you had a good month with Timo Pukki, then Timo Pukki just disappeared from the earth of existence.
The party was over for him, wasn't it?
The Pukki party was over. Their defence kept folding up like a deck chair every week, and they finished rock bottom, just losing every game at the end. I mean, terrible out of lockdown. Then 18th had Newcastle to go down. I mean, everyone had it with Steve Bruce coming back into the Premier League. Terrible win percentage he had, but splashed the cash, got in Joe Linton, which is the biggest waste of 50 million I've ever seen, especially on a guy who doesn't score. Almiron had a good season. Sam Maximin, what a signing that was. Both Longstaff brothers played well, and Steve Bruce got on playing, but the only thing is Newcastle are gutted about the takeover, so 5 out on that one, no points, so only had 3 points in the relegation places, but I did predict one of the teams to go down, so I'm alright. So I guess that's alright.
So for me, I predicted Norwich to finish bottom, and they did finish bottom, so an amazing start for myself. It could only go downhill from here, but get 5 points for that. Norwich, as you said, Nathan, didn't really spend much. Didn't really bring in that many players in as well, and they had some good results, i.e. that famous victory over Manchester City, but in the reverse fixture they got demolished. I think, was it 5-0? I, like you, Nathan, I thought Brighton were going to get relegated this season. I think a lot of YouTubers thought the same as well, but I was 4 positions out on this. They did bring in Neil Maupay as well, a good signing, which was good. I'm a little bit disappointed in him that he didn't get more goals than he did manage, though. And next up, Sheffield United. Again, lots of people thought they were going to get relegated this season. You, however, didn't, but myself and the majority of people did. 9 positions out for the Blades, who had a cracking season by finishing in 9th position. Next, we're going to look at positions 17 up to 12th, and in 17th position, I went for Newcastle. Now, Newcastle, of course, finished in 13th position. Like you said, Nathan, they got some quality players up there. Joe Linton, I'm not sure how many goals he scored, maybe 1 or 2 in the league. I can't remember in the end, but he's one of the biggest duds of the season. Maybe he'll come good next year, but you never know. Burnley in 16th position. I was way out on that again. 6 to the worse. They actually finished in 10th. Sean Dyche does wonders with the team from the northwest. The style of play isn't to everyone's cup of tea, but it is effective, and they remain in the Premier League, which I'm sure the board, the chairmen, the owners, they're very happy with. Next, in 15th position, I went for Aston Villa. Here was 2 positions out. They actually finished in 17th position, so I get a lovely 1 point there to add to my total. But Villa, I think they would have gone down with that controversial goal. I think they would have. It was it went over the line. It wasn't called, and all the VAR and all that sort of thing. And we could have seen Bournemouth stay in the league, but you have to look through the whole of the season, Bournemouth, and take it as it is. And actually, incidentally, in 14th position, I did have Bournemouth. and I was 4th positions out for the Cherries, which means I get 0 points there. In 13th position I went for Crystal Palace, just the 1 position out here. They actually finished in 14th. I had them in 13th. They could have finished a lot higher than they did. They come back off the lockdown, the enforced break, and absolute terrible form. So that could signal the end of Roy, but I haven't heard any rumours or murmurings. Correct me on that, Crystal Palace fans. And then in 12th position I went for Southampton. Southampton actually finished in 11th position, so just 1 out with that again. 3 points. Yeah, the Saints had a very good season. I think the turning point for them was that hammering, I think it was by Leicester, was something like 8 or 9-0 at St Mary's, and from then Danny Ings started knocking in the goals, and they did it ever so well. Southampton to finish mid-table.
So in 17th for me, I had Sheffield United. I knew they'd probably end up staying up because Chris Wilder, quality manager. Some of the players that they had there, I knew would surprise fans and teams as well. And with how they play with the overlapping centre backs and all that, I was fully confident in the end that they would stay up when I was making the predictions. So 8 out there because they had a great season. Then I went for Burnley, 6 out there, as you said. Sean Dyche keeps doing it, exactly the same as you. Then I'd had Palace, thought they'd have an average season, was 1 out there, but Roy just losing steam there, and they had a terrible run outside lockdown, as you said. Then we had Southampton, thought they'd have a mediocre season, started badly, brought in Hasenhüttl, Danny Ings started scoring, was superb coming out of lockdown, so that's why I was 3 out there. Then I had Bournemouth in 13, thought they'd have a good season, but injury after injury, just purely unlucky, and they shouldn't have gone down really. And sparked the end for Eddie Howe, of course.
I can see a lot of players leaving there in the summer now. Well, Ake's already gone to Man City, so
they're gonna have troubles in the Championship, I reckon, next season.
Well, they'll have the parachute money, and they've got they've been up in the Premier League for a while, so it depends on their ambitions going forward. Do they want to get back into the Premier League at first time of asking, really? So.
It begs to ask. And then next up we have the team that basically relegated Bournemouth, Aston Villa. Thought they'd have a fairly good season, brought in good players, unlike Fulham where they just overloaded with attackers and had nothing at the back. But that goes to show that spending money does not bring you success at all, because you've got to get them to blend. Dean Smith thought he'd be much better than Johanovic compared with Fulham, but he struggled at times, and it remains the question whether he is the right man for the job of Villa. But I think they're going to bounce. I think they're going to have a good season next year, bring in a few more faces and get them to really gel. Also, injuries hamper them as well. So between 17th and 12th, only 3 points there, taking me up to 6. Moving on from 11th to 6th, in 11th I had West Ham. Thought they'd have a good season, brought in many good players as well. Thought Hilaire would be scoring, but in the end he didn't. Another flop as well. Struggled in some parts of the season. Had to bring Moyes back in as well, which shocked a lot of people, but they can never get out of first gear, West Ham, so something has to happen there, and the ownership is another thing. Then, controversial one, I had Chelsea in 10th. With the transfer embargo, Frank Lampard improving at this level as well, and just some of the weaknesses they had in that side. I thought they'd have another Jose Gus Hiddink season, but I was completely wrong. Ended up qualifying for the Champions League in the end. Frank Lampard, superb manager. Really,
you changed your tune.
Yeah, had to change my tune in the end. Proved me wrong. And he really got the kids playing there. Then I had Everton in 9th, 3 places out from that. Mediocre season from Everton. Marco Silva got given the chop, brought in a class manager under Ancelotti, but Everton continue to burn money as usual. They just need some good quality cheap signings really there. And overall, then the biggest mistake of the whole season out of both of us, I had Watford finishing 8th. Where do we start? I mean, 4 managers they went through this season.
The revolving door.
The revolving door at Vicarage Road. Started with Javi Gracia, then brought in Quique Sanchez Flores. I don't know why Gracia was sacked either. Should have kept him. Then they sacked Quique. Then they brought in Nigel Pearson, got him out of the drop zone was doing a miracle there. But
2 games to go.
With 2 games to go, bye-bye. As soon as he left, straight back into the relegation zone. Used their goalkeeper, coach as manager. Stupid decision by the idiotic Watford owners. And then they ended up getting relegated. So if they would have kept Pearson, they would have stayed up. But because their owners are idiots, they failed with it. And not only that, some of the signs they made, I thought they'd have a good season as well. You had the likes of Sarr already to a good... Adding Sarr into a good team with the likes of Delafeu and all the Troy Deeney. Just how has a team with such good quality players get relegated under and I thought that Javi Gracia would have another good season, but no. Quality team down in the Championship. Will we see them coming back first time of asking, or like Bournemouth, will they lose most of their players and will it be a revolving door again next season, and who will they bring in? But anyway, 7th I had Man United. Thought Solskjaer would be sacked by Christmas. Basically, I mean, Wan-Bissaka, good signing, but wasn't sure about the others. Dan James thought he'd play well, and he was average, underrated, and many Man United fans don't like him. But I had a good January transfer window, bringing in Bruno Fernandes. What a shock that was, and how good he's played. Greenwood been on fire as well. But how is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer doing it? I mean, why didn't you do it at Cardiff? I don't understand. Anyone explain how he's done a completely different job at Man United to what he did at Cardiff?
Well, better players and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And he was saved by the skin of his teeth by Hernandez, of course.
Yeah, that is very true. Otherwise, I reckon he would have been sacked, definitely. And they would have finished 7th for 4 out there. Then in 6th, I had Wolves. Thought they'd have another good season, possibly clinching European football again. I was 1 out on that one, so I get 3 points there. Many people thought they'd have issues with the amount of European football they were playing, but nope. Adama Traore, quality this season. Jimenez having another good one. Fantastic. Definitely deserve European football, Wolves. But of course they didn't get it because Arsenal won the FA Cup. So another 3 points out of that lot. Takes me to 9 points for the season so far. Awful.
So my 11th to 6th, like you, Nathan, I went for West Ham. I think a lot of people thought the Hammers this year were going to kick on and do really well. They were, lots of people were tipping them to even finish as high as 6th or 7th. So, but I was 5 positions out on that one, so 0 points. Then, like you, I had an absolute stinker with Watford, predicting them to finish in 10th position. They went down. We'll be seeing them in the Championship next season. At the Cardiff City Stadium. Hopefully we'll get to Vicarage Road as well if we can get out of these restrictions. Next, I went for Manchester United. Like you, I thought Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's going to sort of stumble. He was, as we've said, saved by Hernandez. You could say that he really turned their fortunes around this season. But credit to Solskjaer there. He did well. He found a great blend up front. Martial played really well. Rashford. Greenwood coming to the fore as well. Looks a very exciting prospect for the future. But Man United finishing 3rd, but I had them in 9th position. So all over the shop there for me with the Red Devils. Next out, Wolves. Just the 1 point position out for me here. Had them finishing 8th. They actually finished in 7th. And at the time of recording as well, they are still playing. They are in the Europa League. So a super long season for Wolves.
Over a year.
Yeah, fantastic. They've, Nuno has done excellent there. Their fans must be loving it. I don't know if they expect them to kick on again next year and challenge for the top 5 or 6. I think they'll probably miss out again next season. But another fantastic season for Wolves. Next, I went for Everton, and Everton, such a disappointment for me this year. As you said, sacking their manager, and in comes Ancelotti, who he sort of steadied the ship, but just average, finishing.
Needs another transfer window.
Finishing off 12th. He needs to, build his own side really there, and they could see an improvement in next season. And in 6th position, I went for Chelsea. Just 2 positions out there. Lampard, as you said, Nathan, already has done a very good job. Probably the minimum that the board or Abramovich would hope for, really, to gain Champions League qualification. Missed out on a trophy, so next year I think the pressure is going to be again on Lampard to deliver something. The minimum they'll expect that or expectations on his shoulders will be Champions League positions again, and probably bring in a silverware of a cup at least. So that's my 6th down to 11th, and currently I'm on 16 points. So, next up, we've got 5th up to 3rd position in 5th place. I went for Leicester City, and I was bang on the money with them. I thought the Foxes would have a very good season this season. I was proved right, although they did falter since coming back from lockdown. They should have finished at least 4th, maybe snuck into that 3rd position, but again, Leicester City finishing with European competition next season. Yeah, very good season for Brendan Rodgers again, although I think their fans will feel a little bit disappointed they didn't finish in the Champions League spots. Next I had Arsenal.
Where do we start?
Yeah, Arsenal all over the place. Although Arteta is turning things around. They did win the FA Cup. It's not quite the Queen Mary. Well, it might be the Queen Mary actually on the turning around there, but I had them in 4th position. They actually finished in 8th position, blew hot and cold throughout the season, you could say. So I was 4 positions out, 0 points. And then in 3rd position, a lot of people were expecting Spurs to finish in 3rd position. I think they were in the Champions League final last year where they lost, of course. 3rd position.
Downward spiral.
Yeah, I was 3 places out, 0 points, finished in 6th. So that's my 3rd to 5th.
Like you, I had Leicester finishing in 5th as well.
Spot on.
Brendan bringing in some good signings. Quality manager, knew he'd do something with Leicester. Thought Jamie Vardy would have a good season like 2015, and he did. Yeah,
Maddison, well, he started though.
Yeah.
I think before Christmas he was amazing, and after Christmas and then after
dropped off.
Yeah.
Soyuncu had a good season. I said Chilwell will have another good year as well.
Like he could be on his way to Chelsea as well.
I doubt it, to be honest. I think he'll stay at Leicester. Yeah, he'll stay put. And then moving on, Arsenal, we basically had the same. I mean, Arsenal 4 places out. Where do we start? Emery out of his depth, clearly. Just
good evening.
Good evening, indeed. That's one of the worst Premier League defences I have ever seen from any team. Mustafi and David Luiz, where do we start with that? I mean, that wouldn't even survive in the Championship. He needs to get that sorted next season. At least Mustafi is already gone, though. That's the main thing.
You an Arsenal fan?
No. So yeah, Arsenal, lots of changes that need to be made, and also Nicolas Pepe. What a waste of £75 million that was.
Yeah, I expect
especially at the start of the season.
Yeah, second season I expect a lot more from Pepe. I think.
Well, we should do. And then Spurs, sacking Pochettino, thought he'd have another good season, class manager, but just struggled really. The team wasn't playing well either. In comes Mourinho. Shocker that was, to be fair. Up and down like Arsenal.
Well, I'm not so sure. I think the form since Mourinho has come in, they haven't lost that many games. So I know they're not happy with the kind of style he brings to a team or a club. But
at the end of the day, style of play doesn't mean anything sometimes. So just got to live with it, haven't you? So yeah, 3 out on there. So had 5 points, bringing me up to 14. Terrible this season. And with my top 2, Liverpool and Man City, wrong way round, so that's 6 points there. Liverpool, didn't think they'd have a phenomenal season like they did. I thought Man City would be strong, especially with the amount of signings they constantly make. But had a nightmare in defence, didn't they? Laporte got injured. Had to play Fernandinho, who's a midfielder, at the back. I mean, that's a recipe for disaster, and Man City did struggle and lost 9 games or something ridiculous. So, yeah, and Liverpool, phenomenal.
I think it was more than Arsenal, but I'll have to check those stats again. So.
Yeah, but Liverpool, phenomenal season. 98, 99 points. Yeah, just about time they win the title, really. But we'll never hear the end of it, like everyone says.
Yes, top 2 exactly the same as you. I think our top 5 were exactly the same. Liverpool in 2nd position. I had, of course, they have finished as champions. Manchester City I had as top, and they finished 2nd. So 6 points for those final 2 positions for me as well, which gives me a grand total of 27 points.
Yeah.
Nathan, you finished on 20 points, so there's a 7-point difference there. So next year we'll try and better that again, but a long season is still going on with these European matches in Europa League and Champions League. Bayern Munich against Barcelona this Friday. Can't wait for that one. I think Bayern will win that one myself.
But Bayern will get through. They look phenomenal. I think they'll win the whole thing.
But the Premier League prediction show will be back probably in the first week of September. We'll do another one of these predictions of where we think each team will finish as well, probably the last week of August. So watch out for that one. Make sure you got that notification bell on so you don't miss any video that comes out on this channel. Now, before we go, Nathan, it's been a long video. Is there anything you'd like to add?
Yep, I'm back to streaming. All my gaming streams are now on Twitch. Go follow my Twitch channel. It's in the description on my channel, so go check that out. Playing a lot of games. Go live most days except Wednesday and Sunday at the moment, so check that out.
Fantastic. Thanks once again for watching, everybody, and we'll see you in the next video.